São diversos os fatores de decisão na compra de um automóvel. Uns são mais mensuráveis que outros, como o preço, o espaço e mesmo a autonomia, quando falamos de automóveis elétricos. Mas há um fator que é altamente subjetivo, que é o design. Para melhor perceber as nuances deste tema, fomos até ao Salão Automóvel de Bruxelas conversar com Nahum Escobedo, um dos responsáveis de design da Polestar, a marca mais recente no mercado. Nahum, could you describe us the Polestar's design language in your own words?
Yes, I would love to. I think our design language is very much a balance between Scandinavian design and a bit of a product design and graphic design. When we design our cars, especially you've seen it on the Precept, now especially on the Polestar 3, that we use certain elements to have a very characterful design or very unique design. I think it is a mix of those things, and that's what makes our products so unique and successful.
In your opinion, why is design such a key factor when people are purchasing a car?
In my opinion, I think design is like anything else, you know? I mean, you go to a store, you want to buy a nice pair of shoes, you want to feel comfortable, you want to make sure that that really describes your personality, and also you want to be able to feel excited about driving the car and so on. So I think design will always play a big part on anything, you know, whether you're buying a watch or especially nowadays when you buy a car, because it's such a representation, you know, at least for some buyers, of who they are.
An extension
of who they are, yeah. Okay.
Could you explain to us the creative process of designing a Polestar vehicle? How does it work?
Yeah. Oh, it's such an amazing and interesting process. You know, someone once asked me this morning. He said, like, so how do you get to do a job like this? You know, and for me, you know, this is not a job. This just happened to be, you know, my passion and my hobby at the same time. So, and what makes it such a thing is because our process, being creative, it starts very early on with, at least in my case, with pen and paper. And it's, you know, having your ideas, your vision on paper, and then eventually, once your design is selected by the CEO or the management, this idea or this vision takes place in a 3D world. And this 3D world, we take that sketch or that vision and develop it in a three-dimensional way. Then after, I don't know, let's say if everything goes well, 3 months, then we start working with clay, full-size clay, where we start to make changes, improvements, and so on. And that usually takes, you know, it can take up to a year or a year and a half, depending on, you know, what we need to change or what we need to develop. After that process, the car goes into a phase of production. You know, we have to make sure at the end of the day this car reaches production, and also quality for us is very important. So we have to make sure, as we are working and developing the design, that we look at every single little gap or every single little detail, because we want the customer, you know, to feel like they're getting the best product for the money that they're spending.
So we've got the new Polestar 3 behind us. Could you run us through the main features of the Polestar 3's design?
Yes. I mean, one of the main things, you know, when you first see the car, I think one of the things that really demands your attention is really the new architecture of the SUV. It's a very low roof, you know, a very sporty, very sculptural type of an SUV. With that, you know, you still have the capability of being the SUV, you know, because we have a quite high clearance and so on. But it's still, once you are inside the car, you get really that sports car sort of feel too as well. But that's overall as far as the whole architecture of the car. And if I just start from the front, we have now, you know, in the past, we were faced with having this big grille because we were, you know, we had combustion engines, we needed an opening to cool down the engines. But now that we're moving into electrification, you know, we don't need these openings. So we saw that as pretty much as a path to design something different and to make sure not just to close it, but also find a way to showcase some of the technology that we have. On the front, we have, we call it the Smart Zone.
Okay.
And this Smart Zone clusters radars, cameras, and sensors that allows the driver, you know, to
Have autonomy.
To autonomy, yeah. And then also we have the front wing, which it does two things for me. I think overall in the car, it balances the car quite well. And then also because of aerodynamics now is very important. Electrification, range, you know, they go hand in hand. So we need to push the envelope, but also we don't want to follow a trend. So that's why we say, hey, you know, can we do something different? And since the look of the car is already sporty, we decided to add a wing in the front. And I think it adds a lot of character to the car.
It's audacious.
Yes,
It's
yes.
audacious.
And sometimes you know, at first glance, you might ask yourself, why, or does it make sense? But I mean, I think, you know, so far the feedback that we got is like, you know, it's a very cool feature to have.
Because the car looks very muscular. The black trim,
Yeah.
It looks really robust in the same way. Your initial idea, did it come out that way, or was it just like a kind of an evolution, and that was the result?
No, from day one, I mean, I always, if I said to myself, you know, if one day I design an SUV, I don't want to make a very square or big SUV. So I had to look from day one, I had to look for graphical elements that can help me lose a lot of the visual mass in the car. And that's why, you know, when you see the car, especially since it's an electric car, I emphasize a lot of the wheel arches. Yeah. So for me, you know, that's what makes also this car so athletic, that you emphasize where the power is coming from, rather than before you emphasize the hood or, you know, certain features in the hood because you wanted to emphasize the power. With this is different, and that's why you see a bit of this muscular and athletic body style. Yeah.
So we're in the era where electrification, efficiency, and sustainability are key factors in the design and the conception of a whole car. Does the idea of sustainability influence design?
Of course. I mean, I think design now it's moving in a different direction. I mean, in the past, I think there were a lot of companies that, you know, we were designing, but a lot of it was styling, for example. I mean, nowadays designers face another challenge. You know, we need to be conscious of sustainability and so on. So from day one, we have to think about sustainable solutions around the car. In Polestar 3, we worked a lot, for example, in the interior. You know,
The materials.
the materials, the way you use the materials, and so on. So, I mean, it plays a big part of it. And because of that, sometimes you come up with different ideas that you were not expecting to come up with. So I think, you know, technology, sustainability, and so on, I mean, that adds even more tools for a designer to think of something more creative. Yeah.